We know why we are here. We know how we are here. We are sponsored by Roll20 to conduct both a virtual tabletop across the universe and across the world, bringing everybody together as if we were around a wooden table here in these times of social distancing. But let us go around and see who we have playing with us in this campaign as we begin to create characters. Let's start with Shane. Shane, my friend, who are you and where can we find you?
I've done a lot of streaming over on the Greyhawk channel, taking a hiatus right now, but I've had the joy of playing with Greg a couple of times and with all of these folks on the Greyhawk channel in an agonizingly unfinished Salt Marsh campaign. So it's so exciting to come back with these folks and continue a new story. You can find me on Twitter at, I think, Mage and Sage, not really active. So this is where you find me.
Fantastic, my friend. And let us go over to Leonie. Leonie, how are you and where can we find you?
Hello, everybody. I am Leonie, also known as Gloss and Gadgets, and you can find me here because this is my second campaign I've been over on here. Like, it's becoming a habit, even though I'm like, yes, I'm Gold Heart exclusive. I'm clearly not. It's you keep teasing me over with tempting people to play with. Yes, so when I'm not here, I'm on my own channel known as Gold Heart Gaming, also known as Gold Heart Group. And you can find me on Twitter at Gloss and Gadgets.
Fantastic. And let us jump over to Trooper. Trooper, my friend, how are you and where can we find you?
I am not muted anymore. I'm Trooper SJP. I am doing well. It's a lovely, the printer for the character sheet is just happening in the background. You're just gonna have to ignore that. There's just a little printing sound. See, we've got a really exciting character sheet for the capers. I'm very excited about it. I am excited to be here. This is a crew of people that I really enjoyed playing with during Salt Marsh, and I'm really excited to be back with them and also to have the honor of having Craig, the creator, here with us, which is very exciting. So we can ask him, like, what did that cigar really mean? What was the symbolism behind using like the cards in that way? So I'm really excited for author insights and to be here with the rest of the crew.
That is great. It is, believe me, having the developer writer of a system on stream with you is awesome and terrifying because I always worry about bumping the baby. So I will try not to do either of those things. And then over to Heavenly. Heavenly, my friend, how are you and where can we find you online?
Hello, I'm so excited to be back as it has been teased through everyone's introduction. We have an unfinished game from a few months ago, so I've been really itching to play with this really fantastic group, and I love space, I love aliens, I love mushroom babies, so I'm very excited to be a part of this world. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining us as well. It's very exciting. I don't think I've ever played a game with one of the creators before, so it's a little nervous. I hope you're not like, she doesn't understand this game at all. She's done nothing wrong. She doesn't understand the true nature of the character. But I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. You can find me on Twitter at that is my real name. THT is my real name. I don't know a good way to tell my handle because I couldn't fit the A in that. So I had to make a sacrifice somewhere. It's one letter too long.
I think it's great. That's just take the A out. That is my real name. I love it. First A is gone. Awesome, my friend. So great to have everyone back. And finally, last but certainly not least, the developer himself, Craig. Craig, how are you? And where can we find you online, my friend?
I'm good. My name's Craig Campbell. I'm the owner and lead designer at Nerdburger Games, and I designed Capers and all of the little bits and pieces that go with it, all the supplements. And we're playing Capers OffWorld, which is the third supplement, where we take 1920s era Prohibition gangsters and cops and feds and stuff like that, and we put them into space, sort of Buck Rogers pulp action style. Although now I'm learning for the first time what the kind of tweak on that is that is being presented by our GM here. So this will be interesting. Understand that it's much or some I guess of what you see here isn't necessarily right out of the book. I'm sure we're going to expand upon things, and then the GM is going to take us in their own direction. And to alleviate, and well, first of all, I'm Nerdburger Craig on Twitter, and so you can check that out. During these first couple episodes right now, there's actually a Kickstarter going for this supplement where you can also get the core game and the other supplements, and you can mix and match and get whatever pieces you want. So that's over on Kickstarter right now, Capers OffWorld. And to allay the fears of that people have started to express here, you are welcome to ask me questions. I will gladly explain things in the games. I'll even provide insights into why something got designed the way it did, if that's what you're really interested in. But at the same time, I'm not going to go out of my way to correct any of the players or the GM on how you're playing the game, because I've said it many times. This game is mine until it's published in people's hands, and then it's yours, and you can play it the way you want to play it. So it's entirely possible. I don't know. We're going to find out together that some of what we see rules-wise here might not be what's written in the book, or might be just kind of taken in a different direction, or we may play exactly as it's written. I don't know. It'll be fun.
I hope to stay as close to the source material as I can, but I also want to tell everybody that if you look down in the description of this video or over into chat, you will see the links to the Kickstarter right now. And as soon as you go over there and link up, please kickstart, contribute to this fantastic new expansion. But also you will find the links to, and I believe the PDFs are all available, the links to those as well, because if you are or find yourself, I don't know, social distancing, sheltered in place, or otherwise unable to leave the current whereabouts in which you are viewing this, know that all you really need to play this game is a deck of cards. And if you have that and some information, then you will be able to play this game, and I will let you know that it is very user-friendly, and that those people that may be intimidated by a handful of dice, they get a lot more comfortable with a deck of cards. I know, because my kids told me. And that was yesterday. And so I said, we can now comfortably dip our toes into OffWorld and begin to create a character. But before, I promised that I would tell you what you'll be doing. And so you are currently on Seraphim Station, which is a massive orbital space station that is orbiting around the planet Jupiter. It is there that this is very much like our Citadel from Mass Effect. And you all are part of the Seraphim Station Police Department. Politically charged environment, corporate charged environment, old grudges between certain extraterrestrials. And inside this hotbed, which was getting more and more chaotic despite the best efforts of the police department, one single person kind of appeared out of nowhere, a former teacher on Earth. Her name is Helen, and she gained the moniker Helen of Joy. And she started spreading a message of peace along Seraphim Station. And in all of these efforts that Helen of Joy has kind of instituted and moved towards, one in particular, Bethel Summit is what she's calling it, where all of the problems of the station are to be aired out, worked towards a moment of peace where all of the different cultures will be able to grow in a prosperity that can only be done, she believes, as a single body. But 2 days before the summit, you all were contacted by your commander, a Felix Quint, to come to her apartment, her living unit in Seraphim Station, the living unit of Helen of Joy. You were told to come out of uniform. When you arrive, it becomes very obvious very quickly, Helen of Joy is missing. And that is where your investigation will begin. And so with that armed and readied, let's create some characters that you believe could help you or contribute to Seraphim Station, and more particularly the SSPD, called the Speedies by the local populace. As we dive into the character creation process, I will let everybody look over on, if you would draw your attention over to our virtual tabletop of choice, Roll20, and you will see that we have a poker table out. The poker table, of course, is for capers, and as this is a Once again, a deck-based system. Each of you have been assigned a deck that is currently in your profile's name. You will see those over on the right-hand side, be able to scroll through them from blue to brown to green to orange to purple, I believe, are all of the decks that have been assigned. And then also we do have our X card that is at the very bottom. Should that need to be played, we have numerous ways in which that can be brought to either my attention or the party's attention. And so in addition to that, putting together, I know that I like to think of a character name. I like to think of the ins and outs of exactly why I'm establishing a character. And usually, and again, it's always the question of what comes first, the idea or the mechanics and then the idea. And so I can go both ways when I'm creating a character. We have several different concepts known as identity and virtue and vice. And those.
Would you mind if I drew cards for my identity, virtue, and vice randomly just right now to see what they are, as it might impact? And if I don't like them, I won't keep them, but then it might impact where I put those traits?
You may absolutely draw to see if whatever the fate's designed for you is something that you want to roll with. Like
if I don't like it, I won't use it. But but if I do like it, then it might impact my trait choice.
Sure, absolutely. Whatever is the direction the players themselves would like to take, I will roll with whatever you'd like to do.
And I recognize that everybody here is absorbed what they can of the game, and will have some, their preferences for types of things that they want to play. I'm happy to fill in a gap at some point. And I can put together a character in like 12 seconds. So I'm going to kind of play along a little bit here to see what people have to say about what this little police force team is going to kind of look like. And then I can kind of, because I designed it, so I love everything. But some people are, like each of you is going to like certain things more than other things. And those are the things that you're going to be drawn with the core game. And your identity is your, it's just a descriptor of kind of your general personality type. It doesn't, they are individually sort of one-dimensional, but your character is certainly going to be three-dimensional. But here's it's a guiding thing. And then your virtue is something that you hold to, that you will never betray, that's important to you. And your vice is your Achilles heel.
Yeah, I knew all that. I just wanted you to say it for everyone watching.
Yep.
Just kidding.
So yeah, you can determine them randomly, or you can just pick ones, or you can even develop one with the GM if there's something seems appropriate. And mechanically in the game, there are ways for you to also regain moxie, which we'll talk more about later.
I don't know if it's useful to say what this is like. I just pulled 3 cards in a row just to see what would come up randomly. And according to the core book, which you can get out right now on Drive-Thru RPG and probably your own friendly local game store, this character is a glory hound as their identity, looking for affirmation in all things, gain moxie when others praise you for a significant deed. Their virtue is commitment, loyal to an organization, small group, or family, and do whatever they ask of you. And then the vice being vain, you think very highly of your own appearance. And all of those things work really well together to give me a sense of this character. So I'm going to keep those, but very quickly, with just drawing 3 cards, you can come up with something to work with if you didn't have an idea ahead of time.
All right, so for my character here, I have my identity is a masochist. I enjoy trouble I invite into my life. I gain moxie when trouble arises in my life and I suffer from it. My virtue is that I am best friends with one of my compatriots and I am willing to lay down my life for them. And my vice is that I will not back down when I think I'm right.
Okay, just again, because we all played Salt Marsh over on the Greyhawk channel. I just want Trooper and Heavenly to know you just rolled the characters that you played in that game. Those are exactly what your characters were.
Look, it was the cards, it wasn't us.
Yeah, exactly. The cards decided. If the universe has assigned me a type, that may be true, and we may be realizing that now, but I didn't design this character.
Thanks, Craig. Why are you calling us out?
Yep, and then whenever you get to assigning the great thing about the traits, and obviously at any point, Craig, correct me, they are what they say they are. They're their base stats, and the number that you put into each of those, 1, 2, or 3, those are the number of cards that you can draw for a related role. That's like kind of your base number of cards that you'll be drawing from. And so if I assign like an average DC would be 8. If I assign an 8, then you have, if you have a 3 in that, at least 3 chances to draw and get better than an 8. And so kind of keep that in mind whenever, and charisma is exactly what you think. It's all kind of the interpersonal stuff. Agility, there's your dex, perception, awareness. Expertise can be anything that might be in like education or history or professional knowledge, things of that nature. Resilience, your ability to be able to absorb either mental or physical, damage. And then strength is just what it sounds like, power of body.
I'm thinking that the only trait that I feel drawn to is probably resilience if I'm going to be a stubborn-headed mushroom idiot. I should probably have a little bit of resilience in that.
That needs to be a t-shirt. Stubborn-headed mushroom idiot.
And Heavenly is referring to being a fungus person, not like being a druggie who does mushrooms.
Well,
well, maybe.
We don't know. No judgment.
Maybe I visit Earth and I'm like, what's this? I'm willing to try everything twice.
That's
She
disgusting.
is a masochist, right?
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism. We have, as exceptionals, you all will have the ability to choose perks as well. And before we do that, though, I'd like you to pick some skills. And the skills that you have were, let me see, it's your expertise +2, correct? Depending upon your race that you select as well.
Correct. Now you have a, if you play human, that's what it is. And just as a note, it sounds like, Greg, you're planning to, like, there will be the potential for characters, if we wish, to gain powers as we play.
Correct.
Okay, so we're starting as exceptionals, but if you are going to be playing a non-human, if you're playing an alien species, you will have 1 rank in a power. But it's like a power that's intrinsic to that particular alien species. So, for example, the Eglons are eagle people, they're bird people, so they all have the flight power because it's actually like they have wings, so obviously they fly.
Right, and what are the other powers that we have? I'll let you describe it much better than I can with the Sklar and with the mushroom-headed people. And
The mushroom-headed, well, they are fungus people. You might have a mushroom head, I don't know, like a big hat, a big red, big mushroom cap face. You can decide that. But the species are, if you play a human, you get your expertise score +2 skills. If you play an alien species, you get your expertise score +1. And then you get a rank and a power. And the Cybans are, or with Cybans, you get an augment, and we'll talk about that briefly. Cybans are a species of people who their homeworld suffered a terrible disease, and it decimated their population. And in order to save themselves, they kind of built themselves up with biomechanical kind of apparatus that they attached and invaded their bodies with. So effectively cyber tech or biotech. And so a Cyban always begins with an augment rather than a power. And then Eglons begin with being able to fly. They are bird people. The Luxil are sort of the bald-headed alien with the big eyes, but they're real tall, and they're sort of the peacekeepers of the galaxy. They're sort of the Vulcans of the setting. They're the enlightened alien species. And they have an ability called empathic adaptation that allows them to have empathy and gain things from understanding other people. The Museri are the mushroom fungus people. And they have sort of a hive mind, which gives them telepathy. They all start with telepathy. And the Sklar are lizard folk who have a, what's their power? The prehensile feature, specifically a prehensile tail. They have a tail that they can do things.
And then I flashed up the trait or the skills onto the Roll20. They're also available on the screen right now for those of you playing along with the home game. And again, those are very straightforward with the acrobatics, athletics, all the way down through willpower. Those would be very much like your feats in other systems. Each of these, you will be able to, when you select them, if a role that you think might be applicable to this particular skill, then you can add 1 point to your base card draw. So if it's a skill that I would ask for, strength or something like that, and it's also something that you can apply to fisticuffs, you would be able to, whatever your strength roll is, +1 because you're applying fisticuffs as well. And again, this is based more on the build of the character, what you want the character to be.
So I'm thinking about I was going to be a human because I feel like in sci-fi games, no one plays humans. So I thought I'll be a human. But
God
then,
damn it!
but then my character is a glory hound who's got commitment, excitement, and also is vain. And I was looking at the description of the Eaglon, and I was like, oh, I think that would be a great Eaglon character because then I'd have really great feathers that would just look amazing. So I'm going to have to go Eaglon for this character, I think.
Well, I mean, I did the draw as well, and my cards are still there.
Right.
I chose some first, and I was like, and then I did the draw, and I ended up with leader, generous, and phobia.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah. I don't know why Craig wants us to keep playing Saltmarsh. I mean, I don't know what's up with that, Craig, but.
So I don't necessarily know where this character is going to go, but so far their skills are willpower, guns, and sense, and they're telepathic. So I'm a telepathic fungus with guns.
It already sounds fantastic to me.
I'm thinking about acrobatics and athletics because I fly. That's a thing that I do. And I feel like that makes sense. I decided to put my 1 in resilience because birds have hollow bones, and I thought that would make sense. But I also sort of like the idea of maybe giving this character fisticuffs. It's not perhaps wise to be like, oh, I will punch a thing when I have hollow bones. But, like zooming in on people, I thought.
Do you have talons? Do they have talons?
Ooh, talons, right? And I don't know if talons would be fisticuffs or melee weapons.
If it's a natural attack, it's fisticuffs.
Well, then we'll go fisticuffs.
So like even when if Greg breaks out a monster, their skill, they always like claws and teeth and all that stuff is always fisticuffs. Okay. Melee is like literally holding a weapon in your hand.
Okay, I have chosen diplomacy, guns, stealth, and willpower. I've put charisma 3, agility 2, perception 2, expertise 2, resilience 1, because I don't like fighting, and it's a good excuse not to, and strength 2.
I thought that my character would like fighting, but perhaps really not in the face. You know what I mean?
Not the face.
Not the face.
That's okay. My fungus body will take the punches for you. I'm very resilient.
Because a lot of the perks deal with picking minor powers and things like that. Just select 2 perks. And we will be able to go from there. Again, just to kind of streamline the process a bit, I put the perks up on the Roll20. You have a couple to choose from: Fleet of Foot, Hardy Body, Lucky, Power Resistant, Quick Reflexes, Refocus, Tough Wily Mind, and Specialty Skill. All these basically enable you to augment additional rolls and things like that.
And be wary of power resistant. If you take that, you can never have powers. So you'll play an exceptional through the entire game, which is not bad. I mean, you can use your advancement points to gain new perks and to bump your traits up and new skills. There's plenty of stuff to spend things on.
I think my name's still going to come last because I need something that is
magnificent.
Yes, I need a magnificent name is what I need. And I was like, maybe I'll get the maybe I'll be inspired.
Vainglory, ostentatious.
This is what I need. And I was like, I need something that like when you hear it, you're like, oh, of course that's your name.
Valiant. Your name's Valiant.
That's my name. Thank you. That is my name. That is my name.
I am a Cyban. You asked if we have any other non-humans.
Leonie, thank you so much. I was like, that's it. That's the name.
I already feel when I had read what our character options were, I chose mushroom because I love mushrooms. And I was like, oh, they'll be this like kind of sweet, innocent, you know, they're like new to the world order and they're like, ooh, what's going on? And then I roll masochist and stubborn headed. And now I've chosen the perks hardy body and tough. So instead I've somehow built a fungus tank. And
Fungus tank. What?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I had done some mushroom research to see what mushroom I wanted to look like, and I found one called the bridal veil stinkhorn, which is a very beautiful mushroom that apparently smells like a rotting corpse.
Nice.
And so I actually feel like that's fitting the vibe that I have for this character very well.
Oh, that is a really pretty mushroom.
Yeah, it has its little head, and then coming down from the cap is what looks like a veil. So it looks like the mushroom's body is like protected behind this delicate little veil, but apparently it smells like the worst thing ever.
Look it up. But so I think for my perks, just based on how we're all talking, how the character's developing, now I think I should probably take Lucky, but I was like, no, this character needs fleet of foot, increasing speed, and also quick reflexes, right? I feel like on Johnny on the spot, as it were.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry, what does Refocus do?
Ooh, good question.
Sure, I'll flash it up here. Once per game session, you can reflip your entire trait check.
Oh.
So, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where they ignore the results of the original roll or the original pool and are able to basically try it again once per session?
Right. When you make a trait check, you'll be flipping one card at a time and deciding whether you're going to stick with that card or try another one if you have another one that you're able to draw. And you might get to the end of all of that and say, well, that's all terrible. And this is the ability. Now we'll talk more about Moxie, but one of the things Moxie gives you is you can get one more card for that trait check. So even if you spend the Moxie, you might spend a Moxie and get one more card, and that's still terrible. And you really need to succeed at this so you can refocus and you can completely start over.
I'm still thinking about physical appearance, but he is what is it called again? The
Saiban?
Saiban, yeah. So he's tall and thin and wiry, and physically he doesn't look good. A lot of the physical issues that in the past have caused them to take on these augmentations. He seems to be working against their benefit in his body. He's got like the big fat nose and the busted corpuscles, and he typically smells strong. He smells of strong drink, as is his vice. But his name is Nevacorel, but he goes by Nevada, because he got hold of some early 20s silent Western films and they changed his life. And now he fancies himself an old time Western sheriff. He likes to use his hollow projector to project cowboy characters in totally inappropriate situations and have them have a little dialogue with somebody that's one of his cowboy heroes. And so that is Nevacorel.
And what we'll do too is everybody, whenever and in fact, I have trait defenses that I could flash up. Everything should be, just for me, everyone, can you see the stuff under character creation in the player section?
Yes.
You should have everything you need, at least for this particular part, to go through there. If you need to go back and refer to something, it should be available to you. And this is from the core book, inside the Roll20 assets that we have available to us.
Are those, by the way, is that a pack that you can get? Like if you pick up is there a Capers pack that you can pick up at Roll20 and just have all of that business?
What a great question, Trooper. Yes, it is. And in fact, the link is right down in the description if you would like to go pick it up at the Roll20 Marketplace. Roll20, our virtual tabletop of choice. And
how convenient.
Right. An excellent question. But no, yeah, you're able to get the entire core rulebook, and they also give you some really awesome assets, including the poker table.
Do
some
we
other
have
things
any
that
gear that we start out with?
you'll all be assigned your police outfitted laser pistols. So you all have a laser pistol. If you would like to have two, I can be talked into it. Everything else we're going to kind of leave back because you were told to arrive at least for the initial RP, you were told to arrive at the apartment out of uniform. So any type of armament or additional defenses that are gear or anything like that would kind of stand out a bit. And so in an effort, once again, to kind of ease ourselves into it, you're able to come armed with a concealed weapon and, of course, your badge. But beyond that, we'll leave it empty for now. And then we'll have a moment to gear up whenever we are presented with the opportunity, which will happen before, of course, I try to kill you.
Is the laser pistol in the
That's kind of you.
gear?
It is. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, suit plus 3. Yeah. Regular pistol does suit plus 1. Laser pistol does suit plus 3, which is significant in the game. You will come to find.
What does that mean, suit?
It means without getting into, well, we'll deal with it kind of when we start to see trait checks happen. But when you're flipping your card, the pip value of the card determines success versus failure.
Okay.
And then the suit determines degree of success or failure. And so there are good suits and bad suits. And so the better your suit is, the better your success is. And when it comes to, and so like, for acrobatics or insight checks or something like that, it's more of a narrative element. But when it comes to combat oriented stuff, the better the suit is, the more damage it does. So you'll be basing off of suit, which is basically, makes it kind of like a D4, diamond, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades in order going up.
Greg, I would like 2 laser pistols because I think it would be really funny.
Absolutely. I'm here for violence is humor. And the fact that I already want art of the mushroom with the veil with 2 guns that beside the Western cyborg. I mean, this is like an early 80s video.
I feel like this character is now the bride from Kill Bill, but as a mushroom.
Yep, and then yes, go ahead.
I think I'm almost done. I have a name, and the name I'm actually laughing about. And if I say it loud enough that my partner, who is gaming in the bedroom where he is banished, can hear me, he will laugh because it's kind of like a reference to how we met. Obviously, I'm crazy about Mass Effect, and this is like a little bit of Mass Effect. My partner and I met because he read my OC fan fiction about CSEC, where the main protagonist was a human in CSEC, and her name was Victoria Shaw, or Tori Shaw. And yeah, no, you couldn't hear me. It's fine. There was no laughter.
Fantastic.
So, yes, so it's all shaping up now, and I'm like, yes, this all works. So yeah, that's who I'm playing. I'm just going to reassess my anchors quickly.
Nevada is like the rifleman, assimilated by the Borg after a 3-day bender.
I'm going to have to switch my resilience and my charisma, which one is my lower score, because I just feel like you're going to find him super annoying. So I think I should lean into that with the charisma. That's all. Just moving it over.
Yeah, I originally had charisma as my lower score, but then it feels like charisma is very heavily tied to mind.
Yeah.
Fortitude. And so I was like, if I'm a telepathic mushroom, I should probably have a little bit of mind fortitude. So I made strength my lowest because, you can be tough without being able to back up your threats. I mean, that's real.
That's real.
I'm like a body lifter who lifts for looks and not for...
With 0 real strength, right? It's all cosmetic. You can't carry groceries.
Yeah, they have muscle injections now that you can get. It'll just pump you up, but give you no real strength.
No real strength.
Can I, if everyone has this ready, can I get a rundown of the character names? What did I just do?
My character's name is Barris, which means from the forest, because originally she was going to be a cute mushroom and now she's a horrifying mushroom, but her name can still be cute.
I'm Nevada. Now you pronounce it Nevada if you're from Nevada. If you're not, you call it Nevada. That's how you know.
I am playing Victoria Shaw. Don't call me Vicky.
Also, one of you has to be my best friend, and it doesn't have to be reciprocated. But one of you will be victim to my affection, and I haven't decided which yet.
I mean, I'm all for being best friends again.
I was gonna say, I almost wanted to be Leonie because I feel that's what we do.
Very
like
happy
a comfy slipper.
Yeah, stick to what you know. So, what part of the forces are we? Sorry, I'm getting into like role play questions. But we're all part of the police force. But as we know, police force has different sections, like vice, like crime, like domestic, so on and so forth. I'm throwing words about like I know what I'm talking about. What departments do we work in, or are we all from different departments?
That's what I wanted to say.
Janitorial.
You're all from different departments. You could all be from the same department. It's completely up to you. But as far as what your classification would be in the department itself, you're all investigators of some kind. So whether that would be in vice or homicide or, or whatever would happen to be, that is your designation inside. So you're all investigators and you're all pulled together and you are responding to this very kind of hush-hush call that came in from Commander Quinn.
Another question. This Helen of Joy, who's been an agent of peace and who set up this summit, does she have a specific role? Did she participate in government, or is she just like a figure?
She is not an elected official. She is not a member of the corporation. She is one of the very few, if you want to call them private citizens, that was allowed residency or even the ability to go to Seraphim Station. So upon her arrival, she immediately began this kind of role or this quest of activism, this movement of peace, because the station itself is very, very conflicted. It is the introduction of a lot of opposing forces, whether it would be economical, political, whatever it would happen to be. There's just a lot of things going on with the advent of an expanding universe. And she appeared and acted as a relief, a cooling or chilling factor to the heat that was growing in the station. And to the point where she immediately became a respected figure that at the very least, all factions would listen to her, to the point where they would not necessarily follow whatever rules or commands that she gave, but they would meet with her.
That's cool.
Would anyone mind then if I'm part of specialist operations? Sorry, I just literally Googled UK police. UK police. What did I Google? Departments. And that was it. Let me have a look. There we go.
I feel like this might be the worst, but I feel like I should be traffic.
You're a meter maid.
I feel like and I'm an investigator in traffic, but I feel like I'm in traffic. I feel like because I fly around, like I'm like what I am. I'm imagining myself like being one of those mounted police. You know what I mean? Like what is the most sort of vainglorious thing you can imagine? But also you're mounted police. Like you stand around at parades in your like.
You're decorative.
Yeah, I'm very decorative. I feel like I'm very
as opposed to functional.
Yeah, so I imagine I'm like the version of mounted police. Like I'm that kind of maybe it's not traffic, maybe it's like right. Like I feel like traffic's the best word I can have right now, but I'm imagining like sort of mounted police being there in crowds, right? Sort of making like sort of like maybe crowds.
You're the face of the department. You're the presence that everybody recognizes, and
I suppose it's like surveillance. I suppose I do surveillance and face face surveillance stuff, even though, because you're a scout, right? Fly around.
I've just dropped my resource that I'm reading. There is a whole police department called Mounted to Police. They deal with crowd control during demonstrations and sporting events, imposing a police presence in serious disturbances such as riots. In rural areas, horses are used as searchers in wide open spaces. And in London, the Metropolitan Police horses take part in ceremonial occasions.
This is who I am. This is who I am.
You're the parade cop.
I am the parade cop. So hardcore. Come on.
I've dropped.
I'd like to take Vice if somebody doesn't want it.
Oh yeah, be Vice.
I want to be. Is there? I want to work in like the morgue department because I smell like a dead body. I feel like it would make sense for me to be around the dead bodies.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you want to be like a forensics type of?
Yes. There we go. I'm forensics.
Everybody goes down to the morgue and they're like, wow, this is definitely the morgue, having no idea that the morgue
it's
probably
just
smells
clean.
great. Right?
It's just bare tables down there and her.
Craig, who are you playing? And what department are you going to be in?
I'm playing a Sklar recruit named Nalar. Sure, he might be the new green recruit, fresh out of the academy. Who wants a recruit? Who wants a partner?
I chose specialist operations because they deal with diplomatic protection, and that's kind of what I've laid heavily into. And because that also kind of ties in with the story hook as well. So come be my recruit. We can see what all the diplomats are up to and what trouble they get into. Plus, I assume there's going to be a lot of paperwork. I can use someone to do paperwork.
That's the RP. That is the advanced RP where there's paperwork involved.
The text role play, yeah.
Right.
I think my catchphrase will be, this is okay. I figured it out. It is, the SSPD needs you.
You're doing the literal Sam the Eagle thing from the Muppets, where he's doing the Uncle Sam, where he.
It's like my catchphrase is like the recruitment catchphrase. Like I feel like that's my one. Yes.
No, that's it. That's canon. That's canon. Val is the literal poster of join the police force, join the SSPD.
Hey, my feathers look great. You don't even know. They're really good. But don't like have a long extended conversation.
So we would recognize you pretty much instantly.
Yeah, but
you are not a person that is covert. But
no.
Given how you look, but looking how you look, can you be anyway?
No, and why would I want to be? Come on, have you seen this face? Also, not in the face.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll have to think of. So if you do have to go undercover, there would be a greater element or emphasis having to be put on Val's metamorphosis or,
yes.
Hey, aren't you?
Why, yes. No. Oh, I mean, no. I am not.
Mimic power, mimic. There's a power called mimic.
However, isn't that Val guy amazing?
I often get mistaken for him, and boy, oh boy, am I happy about it.
Every time somebody compliments Val, just all of a sudden, poof, his plumage just flares out, like
just walking around.
He immediately presents.
It's involuntary.
Yeah.
That's how you catch undercover cops who are Eglons. You would just ask them. You're like, so you're looking really. Are you a police officer? They're pretty handsome. I am. Oh, dang it.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Worst undercover operative ever.
All right. Well, so with that being said, and with everybody through the majority of what we have here, we have a discussion with Moxie. Moxie is a resource that we are able to draw from, and Moxie in and of itself was represented, or we're going to represent it, by the chips that you see by your poker stations. And the good thing about it is you can use that to emphasize either increase a card count. Craig has mentioned it before. Reduce damage. You can gain a boon which can help you with a specific trait roll. And then the one that I want to emphasize is you can spend one to shape the narrative. And so what that means is you can spend a Moxie chip and just say, Greg, I'll take it from here. And you can add a minor element to it, which I strongly suggest and I love because you all are fantastic. And it's the ability to, maybe there's an item that needs to be in this area. I have the choice to veto it, you know, in case you say, here's a picture of the killer, you know, or, but there's ways to, you know, really kind of play into this. It could help yourself or it could help other members of your party, which leads me to the last one. You can spend a Moxie on self-sacrifice, which means if one of your companions takes damage, you can literally jump in front of the blast and take it for yourself. That's my purview. Anywho, let's go around and talk to everybody. We'll go in reverse order and we'll start with Craig. Craig, how are you, my friend? Where can we find you online? And are you ready to dive into Seraphim Station?
Yeah, I'm Craig Campbell, the designer of this game, the owner of Nerdburger Games. I'm Nerdburger Craig on Twitter. You can go to nerdburgergames.com. Newly redesigned with the return of the blog and a Capers weekly thing. I'm going to be putting up a new Capers thing every week all year long. And then there's also the Kickstarter going on for this particular variant on Capers, OffWorld, so you can take your gangsters and lawmen and law officers, let's say, take them to space and pew pew pew.
Fantastic, my friend. And all links will be in the description or over in chat or both. So please go visit websites and links and all of the wonderful things that we are mentioning here. Speaking of wonderful things, Heavenly, my friend, how are you? Where can we find you? And are you ready to jump into Seraphim Station?
I'm so excited. I love sci-fi. I love Mass Effect. I love everyone here. So we're already have all of the recipes for a really great RP cake that's going to be so tasty and moist in the good way because it is a cake. So that's not weird what I just said. Anyways, this is off to a great start. I'm so excited to be back. I'm like so giddy seeing all of your lovely faces. It's been such a long time, and this is just like a blast from the past, and I'm loving it. You can find me on Twitter at that is my real name. THT is my real name, and I'm really honestly looking forward to this so much.
Me too, and it's such a joy to see everyone again. My friend Trooper, how are you? Where can we find you online, and are you ready for Seraphim Station?
I am doing super well because I'm with this wonderful crew of people, and the last time we all played together, I had so much fun. I am really excited to be back with this crew, so that's great. And you can find me at Trooper SJP on Twitch or Academic Foxhole on Twitter. And yeah, I feel like I'm ready, but I don't know if I feel like I need feathers. I don't know if I'm like, I mean, I'm emotionally ready and I'm mentally ready. I just feel like I need feathers if I want to be physically ready for Seraphim Station. But I'm super excited. And the question is, can I get them in a week? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
I love it, and I cannot wait. The metamorphosis. I cannot wait. Let's go over to my friend Leonie. Leonie, how are you? Where can we find you online? And are you ready for Seraphim Station?
When we started, I had a headache, and now it's gone. So clearly what I needed, because I had this headache since I woke up, what I needed was just you lot. So you were my cure. And yes, I think... Well, I've written a bunch of notes in my notebook. I have my printer here, but I didn't want to be disruptive and print out my character sheet at the beginning. Hint, trying a little bit of dirty shade. So I'm going to print it out and then write it out all nicely in my best left-handed handwriting, which would look like Dr. Stuff. So there'll be a lot of me going like, what's this? And yes, where you can find me, I'm Glass and Gadgets on Twitter and pretty much any social media because branding. But on my own channel, you can catch me there where I do a bunch of stuff like DMing and playing and stuff. On Gold Heart Gaming, where I'm the Golden Stag producer, creative content maker.
leads me to Shane. My friend, it is fantastic to see you. Where can we find you online? And are you ready for Seraphim Station?
Man, I'm super ready. I'm Shane. You can find me at Mage and Sage on Twitter. I'm not super active, so shoot me a message and be patient, and I'll get back to you. I'm basically in semi-retirement from online gaming and streaming, but got a message from Greg, and that is what it takes to draw me out of retirement, is a message from him to play with these people. So I do love sci-fi. I'm excited about building new characters and seeing what these folks come up with. But the main thing is like, as soon as I got that message, I'm like, oh, I got to do that. I got to do that. I got to figure out a way to make it work. So that's how much I love these folks. So I'm super excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you so much, everybody, for seeing the signal fire was lit and rallying to the cause and getting the band back together. We have Craig with us here, who is going to lead, especially me, through the Capers OffWorld, which of course is being linked in the description and over in chat. Make sure you join and follow us as well. Also, our virtual tabletop of choice is Roll20, your own Capers game. Log on there to do it around the world, grab a deck of cards, and go to Drive-Thru RPG to get the core rulebook, and do it at your wooden table around the house with whoever you are socially distancing away from, or sequestering, or sheltering in place. This is a perfect game to jump into right now and create a collective narrative. As for me, I am Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, Tales from the Grim here on the Twitch. We will be back to delve deeper into Seraphim Station. I absolutely cannot wait. But what I will tell everyone right now is make sure you follow these people. Follow everything that they do. They say kind things. They make you feel better. They take away headaches, and they tell you about mushroom people that may or may not be masochists. I cannot wait for all of this that is going to unfold as we all tell a story here with, of course, your help. Join us, and we'll see you soon. And as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play. We'll see you next time, friends.